Yesterday, I posted wondering about celebrities and professional sports players in leadership roles right now, and had some really interesting conversations about that. And I think one of the things that I'm hearing a lot of people feel right now is a lack of leadership, a lack of effective leadership is maybe a better way to put it. And sometimes when we feel like there's not leadership or there's not good leadership, we feel powerless. And those are some really big feelings to be having. And I want to share a story about leadership. When I was in 7th grade, I had a class in middle school called Project Adventure. And Project Adventure was about team building, and it was about outdoor skills. And we did a lot of things as groups in the classroom. And one of them was on a log. So there was a log outside of the door, and our job was everybody to stand on the log in an order, and you had to completely flip the order around. I'm trying to do that with my hand, without anyone stepping off of the log. So you really had to work together to get everybody to move and have some sort of plan and a strategy and all this stuff, right? So if somebody stepped off of the log, our teacher, Tim Doherty, would say this very infamous saying that he had, which was, "Start again," and we would all have to get back and start over again. That's all he said, was those two words. And so I showed up for class one day. We were doing the log experiment. Our class we didn't make it anywhere. We started over and over and over again the entire 90 minutes or whatever of class. And then the bell rang and everybody was leaving, and he said, "Sierra, you need to stay after." And I was like, why do I have to stay after? Like, am I in trouble for something? And he looked at me once everybody was gone, and he said, "You didn't do your job today." And in my head, I was like, what are you talking about? I didn't do my job today. Like, I showed up. I was never the person who stepped off the log. None of this was my fault. And I didn't take any responsibility for the fact that my team hadn't made it at all. And he said, "You didn't show up today because you didn't lead." And I was like, why do I always have to be the one leading? Why can't someone else do it? Why does it have to be me? Why can't I take a day off? And he looked at me and he said, "Well, you can, but just know that sometimes being a leader isn't a choice. It's a role that you are put in, and you don't have to show up for it, but if you don't, there's no guarantee that someone else will." And I have gone back to this story many times in my life because there's a lot to learn from it. The first thing is that I didn't take any responsibility. I kind of gave away my power. I was like, I showed up. I wasn't the one stepping off the log. Go talk to Joe or Sally. They were the ones stepping off the log, not me. So not only did I give away my power, I blamed other people. I was like, this isn't my fault. This is so-and-so's fault. This is that person's fault. And how is that happening in our lives right now? And the second part of it, I think, is that I didn't show up as a leader because I didn't see myself that way. So sometimes we're in these positions. We're like, I'm only here because I'm the best linebacker in the country. I'm only here because I own a business. I'm only here because I'm really good at baking cakes. I'm only here because, I don't know, people voted for me. I'm here because I like kids and I decided to be a teacher. I'm here because I have kids and they are relying on me. And we think it's just situational. But the truth is that if you are somewhere, it's because of experiences that you had that you showed up for. It's because of your spirit. It's because of your resilience. It's not because of what has happened to you. It's not because you were randomly picked up and dropped in this place. You own a business because you have dedication and you have courage to show up. You have kids because you have courage to have kids, because you have love, because you have a nurturing skill. You are a teacher because you know that you can influence people, because you know that you have a loving heart. All of these skills are things that are about you. It wasn't random that you showed up there. And so it's not because of your position that you're a leader. It's because of the qualities that are brought out in you. So that was the first thing, is like, I wasn't seeing myself as a leader. I thought, I'm just here because it's sixth period and that's where they told me to be and it's on my schedule. And all my job is to do here is to not step off the freaking log. And there's nothing special about me, and I'm not a leader, and I don't need to give ideas, and I can just let my group do whatever we're doing. And so the first lesson I learned that day was, maybe I am a leader. Maybe there are some qualities in me that other people are seeing that I'm not yet. And maybe that's true for you right now. The other really important part of this story is, I thought that I could just not show up and everything would be fine. Now, I want to be clear. What I'm not saying is that you always have to show up to lead or fix or help in every single situation, because that's not true. Everybody needs rest. Everybody needs to take a break. That's fine. But what happened when I didn't show up is our entire collective failed. We didn't get any closer to our goal. And so you have a choice, but if you choose not to show up, two things are possible of happening. The first thing that could happen is someone else will step in. Someone else will step in and do the thing that you maybe wanted to do or thought you couldn't do or doubted yourself, or, somewhere deep inside your gut was like, I think I could do this. I want to do this, but I don't see myself as a leader. It's not the right time. Whatever excuses we make up for ourselves. And someone else will do it. And you'll be like, oh, they're doing that thing that maybe I wanted to do. Maybe I didn't even realize I wanted to do it until now I see them doing it and I really want to do that. So that's possible. And what might be even worse is the second option. Nobody will show up. Nobody will show up, and that thing won't be done. That idea won't be out in the universe. That innovation will not be received. And our collective will fail together, because what you bring to the world matters. What you specifically bring to the world matters. And right now, we're in this situation where all of us have fallen off the log. Or maybe some of us don't feel like we've fallen off the log. Maybe just some of us have fallen off the log. But collectively, the entire universe is echoing this phrase that Tim Doherty said, which was, hey, start again. And it's a pretty cool invitation to consider, where do we want to start again? And if we don't show up for that invitation now, there's no guarantee that it's not just going to keep happening. That the whole collective will continue to fall off the log and start again. And fall off the log and start again. And fall off the log and start again, because we aren't showing up as leaders. And we all have that opportunity. And if you're feeling like this is you, like this is a time that you aren't feeling worthy, that you're not feeling confident, that you know that there's something that you want more in your life. Maybe you have some sort of like moxie, some sort of sass, like, I know that I have something to give to the world. I know that I can go out and give more. I know that I can prove them wrong. Wherever that space comes from for you, where you get really dedicated and determined, maybe that's the feeling that you have. Maybe it's the feeling at the end of the day that is like, I'm scared. because people aren't showing up. And what if they don't? And I feel powerless, and this isn't the world that I want to live in. What do I do about it? Maybe that's how you're feeling lately. I want you to know that you have a choice. And I'm starting a new group. It's called Courageous Leadership. And it's for people like you who might be feeling these ways, who want to show up, for the collective. And the different thing about this program than other leadership programs that you maybe have heard of or seen online is that this is for humans that want to be complex and messy, because that's the reality. A lot of leaders fail because they try and be perfect. Perfection is not something that is relatable. When you think of like having a coach or a manager or a teacher who is perfect, and you're working with them and you're having to be vulnerable and take risks because that's the learning process, you don't feel comfortable doing that because it's not a safe space to be messy and be imperfect if you think that the coach is being perfect. So it's for people who really want to get into it, who want to explore, how do I create psychological safety? How do I communicate in a way that is human and that is not perfection? How do I use my failures or my perceived weaknesses as leverage to make myself a better leader, instead of feeling like if I fail, it will destroy me or make me like not reach my goals, or whatever the story is that we go down that rabbit hole. So this is for people who understand that there's more to this than just like reading a textbook. There's more to this than 4 steps to becoming a great leader. There will be steps and there will be guidance, but there's a human element that we all have that we're missing. And that's what's missing in effective leadership. Showing up with maturity, being able to ask for help, being able to fail and be okay with it and talk about it, having humility, all of these things. So if you're seeing the world and that log and that voice that says start again right now, and you know that this is the perfect opportunity to do so, click the link, sign up for a call with me so that we can have a strategy session. We can get into what your goals are, what leadership looks like for you, and what your next step is. And we can see if it's a good fit for you. Courageous Leadership is the name of the program. And gosh, this story with the log, if you didn't hear it, go back. If you're watching the recording, consider these questions for yourself. How are you seeing yourself in the world? And how are you maybe hiding, maybe not showing up? Because I promise you that there are things that there are messages that you have that we need in the world right now. We need you as a leader, or the collective is going to keep falling off that log, and the universe and the world and nature is going to keep saying, start again, start again, start again. And I want to help us start again in a way that is smart, in a way that is wise, in a way that is fully human. So shoot me a message. Let me know what you think of this story. Let me know if you have a Tim Doherty story, maybe some of you who I went to school with. I'm so happy to hear from you guys. I love you. I'll see you soon.